Alrighty, we will get started, excuse me, in just a minute with episode 187 of Ghost in the Night. Let some people get in here. Turn that down. Yeah, Gonzo, relax. It's 6 o'clock. It's not even 6, and we're generally always fashionably 10 minutes late.
Yes.
And we're 6 minutes early. So let's cut us a little bit of slack, as I like to say. How we been doing, Gonzo? How's the wrestling going? The wrestling. But tonight we are doing some true crime. We're doing a serial killer, or I should say, Travis is doing a serial killer.
I was trying to put Joe C's part of "I Am the Bull God" on the Snapchat story because it's funny.
Oh, yeah, I guess you want the notes, don't you?
Eventually.
I did not. Shit. Hold on. Let me go in here. I have to move it. God damn it. All right.
Oh, we still got the edge of the fucking doorway. God damn it, Bobby.
So we're dealing with.
I guess when we start, I'll just take the mouse.
Yeah. We're good.
We even got time to kill. Shit.
Shit, we got 3 minutes before we have to get this ball rolling.
Like, share, subscribe, comment.
All that happy.
Whatever the fuck.
And if you are new or you're joining us and you haven't chatted, be sure to say hi in the chat. We love to interact with you, sorry people.
Yes.
You're just
mostly
like
on
us.
Wednesdays, but yes.
You're just like us. We're dumb and we're ignorant and any other adjective you want to think of. I prefer immature.
Shout out to Murs. Good musical artist. Should hashtag him on this fucking video or at him. Look, I wore your shirt on the YouTube live stream. Well, now we gotta just sit here and fuck off for like a minute and a half, technically.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do.
I spy with my little eye.
Not much.
I was gonna say be stupid and like pick something gold.
Dude, in yeah. Oh,
I don't like this super early shit.
I wonder if I hope everybody has a happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, well, whatever. It's just another day. Even though I did get to go out to dinner with my daughter Friday.
This is true. How'd that go?
Just lovely.
Yeah.
It was quick, short, and sweet. But she paid, so hey.
Hell yeah.
If I would have known she was going to pay, I would have ordered more.
Right.
Of course, where we went wasn't exactly overly priced.
I was gonna say shit. If I was you and I found out she was paying, I'd be like, all right, so Red Lobster.
Oh, but there was a complaint. Did you change the chicken tenders? No different order or different company?
As far as I know.
Huh. She said they tasted different.
Maybe she has a Corona.
Maybe. I don't know.
That'd suck if it was true.
I don't know.
All right, I guess we fucking get this shindig going.
Where are the regulars at?
It is Father's Day.
It is Father's Day. All right. Let's get this party started, and
fuck it.
We'll go from there. All right?
Gonzo, share it out. Share out the link to people. Put it on your Snapchat stuff.
If he's even still watching. He probably just
says we get 2.
He probably just timed in just to cuss or yell at us or make fun of us and then left. He's like a sniper like that. All right, let's go to let's play the intro and get this party started.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode, 187?
Yeah. 187 on the motherfucking cop.
Of Ghost in the Night, a paranormal and true crime podcast. Tonight we're doing true crime.
We are doing true crime.
Travis is going to tell us all about we titled it The Meanest Man in America, but I'm going to say he's the sickest fuck in America. Mr.
Shit.
No, hit that one. Wee Gaskins, yeah.
He's up there.
He definitely is a sick fuck.
He's got a lot of stuff going on.
Got a lot of stuff going on with him, but
a lot of issues.
I mean, there is definitely a parental warning for this, or those with queasy stomachs or don't like hearing gory details. You might want to listen lightly.
I mean, that goes with every true crime, really, but this one gets a little. I think I worded it as timidly as I could.
Okay, as long as you say, but there is a little bit of a, like you said, with any true crime, there is kind of a touch and go when it comes to this.
Yes.
And so if you don't like to hear about, if you're on the paranormal side of this podcast and you don't want to hear some nasty, gory details, even put very nicely, you might want to.
Hello, Emma.
You might want to kind of watch this one a little bit.
Yeah, this one gets a little funky.
It gets a little funky. All right.
Shall we?
You take the reins, baby.
All right, again. Tonight we're talking about Wee Gaskins, a.k.a. the meanest man in America, a.k.a. the redneck Charles Manson, a.k.a. the Hitchhiker's Killer, who is an American serial killer, alleged cannibal, and rapist. And other than that, you can just kind of throw in whatever you want because he'll check that box at some point.
He checks all the boxes.
Yeah, pretty much.
All the sick fuck boxes.
Yes, because he claimed to have killed over 100 people, but only 13 were confirmed by the authorities.
Well, don't they all? Who do you believe in this?
Well, because there's a lot. Because he did, like I have in the notes, he had a long history of incarceration and sexual abuse in and out of incarceration, right. Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, but
we'll get into the allegedly later.
Anytime
I can share the video.
In this situation, it's not his number, and but it's not the official police or court number. It's always somewhere in the middle. I would say. So at least I would say a good.
Or I would argue that a good percentage of serial killers are probably higher.
You mean than what the court or what they get charged for?
Yeah,
yeah. I think that would be a given, honestly, but I don't think like in his case or in a lot of they might be a little bit braggadocious and claim a few more than what we're looking at.
I wasn't sure if the front door was open or not.
No, it's the window's open.
Ah, Got it. Shall we?
Continue.
Like and share the video, friends. Seriously,
What's
share
this,
it with all your
ASMR
friends.
channel or whatever that is.
Welcome to Ghosts of the Night and ASMR channel.
All right. Enough of that shit.
Share the video on Facebook and Snapchat, Instagram and Twitter and Reddit and WhatsApp and Hangouts and Craigslist.
That's the dumbest shit on the planet. This fucking ASMR bullshit.
Back page.
If you like it, go fuck off.
The only time it's okay to pop your peas. All right, so Donald Henry Gaskins Jr., later known as Pee Wee, who was originally born David Henry Parrott Jr., or Donald Henry Parrott Jr. Sorry, microphone issues. So he was born March 13th, 1933 in Florence County, South Carolina, to his mom, Yulia Parrott. Eulia, I don't know, Yulia, I guess, but not like the cool. What's the word I'm looking for?
I have no clue.
I'm pulling blank here. Exotic, like Hispanic Yulia.
Oh,
With a U or a Y and a U.
okay.
Good stuff.
It's a weird name. I've never even heard of that
Right.
before.
So he was the last born of several illegitimate children to his mother.
So she was a bit of a
We're
hoe.
off to a good start. Yeah, I guess. So, and he was always so small for his age. Hence why, oh, hey, Jenny. Thanks for the Gatorade. He was the last born of many illegitimate children to his mom. And he was always really small. Again, hence Pee Wee.
Or it wasn't like how they call, fat guy slim or
Right.
he wasn't
well, no,
like
it's
6'9".
Well, as you can see, even as an adult, he was either 4'4" or 4'5" and weighed about 130 pounds.
I mean 5'4", you have 5'4" right now.
Shut up.
Okay.
I had dyslexia. You gonna make fun of me for it on live stream?
No, well, is he 5'4" or 4'5"? Which one is he?
Both.
Okay.
It depends. Well, there was dimensional jumping in the 30s, as we all know.
Those time travelers, that picture.
Okay, he was a jockey. Let's just say that.
Okay, he was a jockey.
Yeah. That fits he fits that bill.
He was a jockstrap.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So Pee Wee was subjected to a lot of neglect from his mother and from abuse from a male family member in his formative years, possibly of a sexual nature.
Sexual. Okay.
Yes. Now, his mom, allegedly, his mom paid so little attention to him as a child that Pee Wee actually didn't know his real name was Donald until it was read aloud during his first appearance in court.
He thought his name was Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Where was he born?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Well, the South are big on nicknames.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself born in the South.
Or hyphenated names.
But
You're your name's either like Squiddle Fart or like fucking Jim Bob.
But I was born in West Virginia, in which they consider themselves Southerners, but they're not per se logistically. But there are still people back there.
They're just hillbillies.
There are still people that, if I go back there today, will call me by my nickname.
Which was?
I will not say it on there.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
I'll tell you.
Was it Pencil Dick?
No. But there are people that, to this day, and I'm almost 50 years old, will still call me by that.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Hey, Pinto Bean, how you doing?
No.
No?
It's
Okay.
just something my grandfather, the moment he saw me at the hospital, he just started calling me that.
Interesting.
And my grandparents never called me by my name. They called me this. Actually, pretty much everybody in the family, on that side of the family, only called me by
Just
my
in the delivery room, you're crying still. He's like, oh, look at him. He looks like a fuck face.
Yes, it was fuckface. No, but that is very common in that, area.
Mm-hmm.
In the redneckish, hillbillyish Appalachia.
I would say hillbilly.
Appalachia.
Yeah.
What word am I looking for? Fuck. But that
Mountain folk.
yeah, that is very common to have nicknames. So
In the land of shallow gene pools.
no, it was not feet looker, Gonzo. Bite your tongue.
Anywho's it's.
It was one word.
So he was known for being very manipulative, and he was a bit of a con artist.
Hold
and
on.
he was
Or I'll tell you what it is.
What?
Big Dick Phil. That's what it was.
That's a lie.
Okay.
Somebody give me a goddamn polygraph right now. That needle will like fucking
Will
break
not-
off and stick into the wall.
Will not stand up in the court of law. Okay, continue.
So, and it was also said that Pee-wee had a keen sense of humor and a friendly, entertaining personality.
Well, you'd have to with the nickname Pee-wee.
In being 5'4", like there's nothing wrong with being short, but
Right.
like you're gonna be short and weird, it doesn't work.
Better be funny.
You better just carry around a lollipop and have a funny haircut. We represent. I'm happy. Yeah, little fuck. So that being said, Pee-wee alleged a lot of this information. Some of his family members actually said later on that he was babied because of his size, and then he rarely or never got hit by his mother or the family.
Really?
Yeah. Because there's a lot, because like, mind you, this man has a book called Final Truth. You can't, it's out of print now. The only way you can read it is there, you can get on Google if you really want to. There is a PDF file. Somebody scanned all the pages of the book, and it is for sale, if you will.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't suggest it.
The tough read?
Yeah, it's a tough read for one, because of some of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, and two, because this dumb fucking backwoods douche nozzle cockface piece of shit didn't understand grammar at all.
He didn't have a ghostwriter. He actually wrote it himself.
Well, they dictated it from him.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they
and
just went
like
word for
it's
fucking
called
word.
Final Truth because every time he would talk about a murder, he would want Final Truth. Like that's how he started it.
That was kind of his catchphrase.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So, but we'll get into that. We'll get right into the news. So, when he was a year old, Pee-wee drank some kerosene. Yeah, which gave him convulsions until he was 3.
Or it just wasn't moonshine.
Isn't it kind of the same thing?
Pretty much. They're both going
Kerosene probably just tastes better.
to... Yeah.
Moonshine
probably.
doesn't taste good. I don't give a fuck what he was. I like moonshine, but it doesn't taste
There
like
are-
real straight moonshine.
No, real
doesn't
straight
taste
moonshine.
good.
Go fuck
It
that.
does taste like kerosene.
It tastes worse than kerosene.
It tastes like turpentine. Is really what it tastes like.
Really, but they have doctored it up. They're.
I do. I mean, I like moonshine. It just I don't drink it for the taste.
I had some. What kind of moonshine I had in the?
The flavored moonshine is amazing. Not
It
that
wasn't
old
apple
Smoky
pie
Mountain
stuff.
bullshit.
It was like grape. It was grape moonshine.
The last jar I bought, or the last jar that I received from a small batch that is not for sale, was blackberry. It was really good.
But
We got watermelon a lot when we were not in high school.
But this was grape, and it was just like grape juice with a little bit with a pretty healthy kick at the end.
Yeah.
Kick you in the nuts, but it wasn't unbearable. You didn't drink it and go.
Like you do with most
Oh,
moonshine.
right, yeah.
Excuse me while I adjust myself.
Excuse me
All
while
right.
I whip this out.
There will be
They
no
won't be able to
whipping.
see it. Don't worry.
Yeah. God damn it. I guess I'll just keep it that way. Fuck it. Because I have to be standing or sitting up for the attention of the class.
Yes.
Fuck you guys. Eat my dick.
You
I
have
love
a
you.
question? Do
I
not
love
raise your
all
hand.
of you.
We love our
Well,
Lord.
yeah, I mean, you can raise your hand, but you're going to look like a fucking idiot wherever you are because I can't fucking see it. Raise his hand in chat. There you go. So, again, kerosene convulsions. It sounds like he was like they did a really good job keeping an eye on him, taking care of him.
Was this, how old was he when this happened?
1.
Oh, so it was just, at that age you put everything in your mouth. That was not,
Is that how you got the nickname from Grandpa?
maybe.
Peanut butter lover, come in here and talk to me for a minute. All right. So as a preteen, Pee-wee and a quote-unquote gang of his peers committed quite a spree, if you will, of crimes including burglaries, assaults, and gang rape.
Whoa, so this is in the 30s, early 40s?
Yeah. So he was
The little fucking rascals?
Yeah.
What kind of gang did they have?
our gang.
Yeah, our gang.
Yeah. They have a name. I believe it comes up later.
Where's buckwheat? Or buckwheat and alfalfa?
I don't know if there would be a black person in this gang. He was not the friendliest of people to the other race.
What, you're saying a serial killer that
Well,
was a racist
well,
that was born in 1933?
but
That's a real big
I will say
limb to go out
I
on.
don't personally think that it really had too much. Not that it matters, but I don't think that it had that much held that much weight in his choice of people of whom he killed.
Right. He was an equal opportunity
Yes, he wasn't a racist murderer. He was just a racist human.
killer. Okay.
Okay,
He killed everybody. I got it.
check that off. Excuse me. So, in the book, you hear him talk about their abandoned hideout. It's literally like the Little Rascals. I don't know if they had a dog, though. If they did, they were probably fucking it. Just wait. It gets better.
What was the girl's name in
Darla.
Darla.
Yeah.
Did everybody take a turn?
The town bicycle. Yeah, what was it? It was Darla, Alfalfa, Spanky, Buckwheat. I think that's all I know.
I just remember.
What was the dog? Spot? Was it Spot?
Something like that.
Or something like Harold?
Yeah, something weird.
Phineas?
Spike?
Yeah. It was Spike, wasn't it?
I think it was Spike. Now that maybe.
Hey, that was a decent remake, actually.
I've never seen the remake.
The one in the 90s?
I'm talking the original.
Oh, look at that. Hold on.
While we hold on.
Better have.
Yes,
We've been out of
Gonzo
contact for a little while.
is bitching at me because he says I assume he's a racist.
Oh, no, he is a racist.
A man born in the 30s in South Carolina.
It's like well documented that he was racist.
Yeah, okay.
But he was he was Damn, somebody was moving on a bike. But Southern racist people Southern racist is different. Like environmental racist is different than a lot of people think
environmental
of.
racist?
Yeah. Like people that grew up in it, like that's just what you know.
Okay.
It is, and I'm not saying it's right by any means, but it is different than what the picture that a lot of people paint of racism.
Right.
Like they have no most racist people because a lot of people in the South, it's just because that's what they know.
It's all that's what
they were taught. That's their childhood. Well, and a lot of them, like, it's not like they work with black people, they interact with them, Hispanics, all that stuff. They just don't like them.
Right.
But it rarely goes said or anything like that. It doesn't. They don't have to adjust their day-to-day life or how they interact with people. They're still like polite to people of color.
Yeah,
for the most part. It's just like they might look at them a little differently when they walk away.
Right. It's still learned behavior.
Yeah, they're not running around like fucking lynch mobbing like they did back in the day.
Right, but there is that generation. It's still going on to.
Well, I guess it's just like the
today,
difference.
But it's a different. They didn't form that opinion themselves. It's just what they knew, and by listening to the generation before them, and like his generation was born.
I know, and it's crazy when it comes from a place like that. It's just like not liking fucking Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, so
like it's just part of your life that like doesn't really cause any problems, but it's there.
Yeah, his mother was probably born turn of the century, 1900s.
Oh yeah.
So she.
If not not even into the 1800s, because he was the last born.
Right. So yeah, I mean bottom line, Gonzo, he was a fucking racist.
Yeah. So again, he wrote, and you can read a little bit if you look up Final Truth about their hangout where they'd smoke their cigarettes and talk about ladies like as if they knew what the fuck they were doing, because all of them were still virgins because they were like fucking 12, which what kid doesn't do that? So there's a big space there for nothing. Huh. Anyway, back to the back to the lecture at hand. I think that's the line. He also said that in those times they learned from the older boys how to jerk off, fuck sheep, and quote unquote cornhole, which one can only assume is butt fucking another male.
You're not saying the game where
no, I don't believe so.
Toss some bags into
I think they're talking about butt fucking each other.
Huh.
Yeah. Apparently it was rampant.
I'm glad I didn't have those kind of friends.
Oh, apparently it was rampant from what he said. Actually, himself and two of his close friends referred to themselves as the Trouble Trio and would peep on women and do other dumb little kid shit. They're basically our gang,
Right.
which for those who don't know was the Little Rascals before it was called the Little Rascals.
Right.
Most people don't know that,
They ripped them off.
especially people my age. Well, no, it was the same, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they just changed the name of it. I think it was like a PC type situation. I wouldn't be racist. No, so well, aren't you Puerto Rican? If you were born in 1933, would you even be alive? Wasn't it a fucking dictatorship?
I don't know. I'm not up on my
Was there even humans in Puerto Rico in 1933?
Puerto Rico timeline.
What did the vehicles look like in Puerto Rico in 1933?
I don't
Because
know.
as far as I've seen, like I guess Puerto Rico not so much, but Cuba. Speaking, let's segue this into something that I find awesome that I would like to see one day.
Well, hold on a minute. For the audio listeners, Gonzo, our wonderful chatters, commented, if I was born in 1933, I wouldn't be racist. So don't assume I'm offended. For one, like you said,
you would have been kidnapped and sold to fucking Fidel Castro for a box of cigars.
if you were born in 1933, you would be one of the ones the racists would be racist towards.
Also, yes.
So you're correct. I will not argue with that.
Well, they say you can't be racist towards white people, which I think is bullshit.
Yes, I agree. I agree, but I understand that what they say. I don't.
Oh no, I get it. Like,
I don't want to.
I get it if you bring up systematic racism,
Right, but
at the same time, like,
if you look at racism as just despising other races or other ethnic
then yeah,
groups,
you can totally
everybody,
be racist against white people.
Yeah,
you can be racist you can be racist against fucking polar bears.
But like you said, the systematic environment or the systematic racism, you correct, and that's about power.
The polar bears are white, so they're better than them grizzly bears or black bears.
Fuck, you don't want to fuck with a polar bear.
I don't want to fuck with any bear. I don't even want to fuck with a black bear. Even the ones that are pussy are fucking bad. Will kill our faces.
Right.
With their feet.
They will
fuck our mouths.
They will cornhole us.
Literally. So, Pee Wee would make money stripping cars for parts and selling them, and he used the money at some point to go to Charleston to purchase some ladies of the night with his friends. Mind you, he's still a teenager at this time.
Hey.
But this I'll give him one thing. He found out at an early age what he was good at, because this whole...
Stripping cars or fucking?
Stripping cars.
Okay.
Well, both, really, but it gets a little questioner. So I have that one thing in quotations, because we need to talk about that. Because
I want an explanation.
Well, because he explains in his book that when him and the boys went to Charleston, that's when they all really lost their, quote, pussy fuck cherries. What do you think about that term?
So that's just a very...
This is how this guy talked.
Fancy redneck way of saying lost their virginity?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, no, because they had lost their virginity, but not to a vagina. So I guess they lost the
pussy.
They had lost their sheep pussy cherries and their other young boy butthole and mouth cherries, but they didn't lose their pussy fuck cherries until Charleston. Welcome to Pussy Fuck Cherry Charleston.
We should have named that episode this.
Pussy Fuck Cherry Charleston.
That's going to be the name of my memoir when I write it.
That's my uncle was a movie star. Pussy Fuck Cherry Charleston Heston.
But not because I want to start fucking cherries.
Welcome to Charleston, the Pussy Fuck Cherry capital of the world. Is there anything else in Charleston? Is that where UNC is? No, that's South Carolina. Is that where USC is?
That's North Carolina.
That's what I'm saying. Is that where the Cocks are?
The Gamecocks. I don't think it's Charleston, but
Charleston, home of the Cocks and the Pussy Fuck Cherries.
Where is USC?
There's at SCU.
No, it's USC. It's because it's fucking confusing.
Yeah, I know.
With that other USC, right down the street from us.
So, again, they lost their pussy fuck cherries to some ladies of the night in Charleston. But according to him in his book, Pee Wee didn't like those whores. Those are his word. And agreed on fucking just jerking off at the hideout was better. And And one of their friends actually supposedly preferred engaging in homosexual behavior with the young boys of the group. And since he was their friend, Pee-wee and the others would apparently just let him blow them when he wanted, because what else are friends for?
That's a good fucking friend. They're good fucking friends right there.
Literally. I'll take your word for it. I'm gonna back out of that friendship, but you do you by all means. So yeah, I guess they're just in this abandoned hideout, just blowing each other and fucking sheep, and smoking cigarettes. Lucky strikes.
Probably, or Camel non-filters.
Or they just reached out the window and ripped off a fucking leaf from somebody's tobacco plant and just set it on fire.
Probably.
Good stuff, none of that tar.
That tar get the natural shit.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
Just fertilizer and pesticide.
Yeah, so the boys started thinking about having sex with a virgin. So one of them, who was named Marsh, threw out the idea of his 13-year-old sister as a candidate.
So they started looking for a cockfuck cherry.
I guess.
Okay.
They started looking for a piece of shit cherry. Their piece of shit cherry. So they told her that they would kill her if she told anybody about the rape. But she told anyway. Good job. And instead of involving the authorities, the boys were tied and beaten, severely.
Severely beaten.
Till they were bloody beaten. With, whipped and shit.
Wow.
Which, good, but I don't know if that's the right route.
Well,
not to that. You know me. I don't mind if you want to pop your kids. If your kid's like fuck you, and you pop them in the mouth, or you smack their hand, or give them a whap on the butt. But you're not gonna help your kid by beating them like this. All you're gonna do is give them more cause to not get caught doing something.
Who beat the boys?
I guess it was a coalition of parents and
kind of like a
possibly just pretty much.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but I just questioned, did anybody? Is that all that happened? Was nobody now? Sit down. Well, I guess you can't, but stand and tell me what the fuck you were thinking, Pee-wee.
Well, I seen her on in my telescope from the hideout while Billy Bob was sucking my wiener, and the other boys was cornholing in the corner. And I just thought, she's so beautiful. I can't wait to lay my hand upon her against her will.
Well, we're gonna have to disagree on this. I'm big on vigilante justice on rape. Now, if it was the girl's father,
well, that's what I'm saying. I can't say I don't fault them, but was there any other attempt to try to figure out where these fucking kids' heads were at?
No, this is
what I'm saying.
They
where we might have avoided some of the shit that ends up happening in this story.
Not 1940.
Right.
Now we would have
right. This is. I mean, he was born in 33. This was probably
45.
That was 13, so 46, right after 46. The war, and it was right after the war.
Yeah, so it was a different time.
So there's a lot of angry dads coming home.
And back in those days, it was
you look like a Nazi that I shot. Thump.
And back in those days, it was perfectly acceptable to beat somebody else's kid.
Well, fuck, kids were still dying in the workplace and shit. Working in fucking steel mills and shit. They're like, yeah, that's Billy Joe. He's a good boy. He's good at carrying glowing hot metal beams with just leather gloves. How old's that boy? I might want to hire him in my facility. 7.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different. It was a different time, so that does not shock me at all.
No, not at all. And like I said, I don't blame them. Fuck them.
It's a different time. We have to look at it. We're looking at it through our eyes. Where that's horrendous. How those boys need help. Back then, it was those boys just need an ass whooping.
Yeah.
That different way of thinking. And I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not saying I am saying I'd probably do the same damn thing.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't stop them.
If somebody did that to one of my kids, you want to come see me? We'll do this podcast with a glass.
Right, we'd be sitting there, and I'd be the one. Everybody'd look at me weird because I'd walk out in the middle of it and be like, "Enough! They'd be like, "What's wrong with you, bub?" And I'd be like, "Bring the lemon juice and salt." All right,
continue.
so, that happened when I think he was like 12 or 13 at that time. So, but when he was 13, this is confirmed 13. He was convicted for assaulting a young woman by hitting her with an axe in the head when she caught him breaking into her family's home while the family was at church. Yeah, he started a downward spiral. I don't even know if he started a downward spiral. I think he just started at the bottom. And unlike Drake, he never got here.
So, did he bring the axe, or did they have the axe in the home?
I don't know. Well, because this gets a little fuzzy because it may have also been a ball peen hammer, because a ball peen hammer gets used a lot in this guy's life.
All right.
He's the ball peen hammer man.
I mean, because
ball peen hammer time.
I would think it would be axe at the house, and he just grabbed it. Because why would he bring an axe to a B&E?
Yeah, he just went Lenny from Mice and Men and just freaked out a little bit.
Yes.
I didn't mean to hurt her, George. So he was sentenced to 5 years, and here we go with how the time period and the area of the world. In a reform school, the South Carolina Industrial School for White Boys.
Is that the official name?
Yeah.
For white boys?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, how bad is it? You have a reform school just for the white kids.
It wasn't South Carolina Industrial School
we
for
don't mix
white
race
young
even with
Caucasian men?
Yeah, we don't mix race even with the offenders. Good job, South Carolina.
You gotta love South Carolina.
Yeah, so he was alleged. This is alleged by him, but it probably was true, honestly, because of how small he was. He was regularly raped by the other boys in the reform school, which, again, that's him saying that, but I wouldn't be shocked at all because those boys' schools and shit back in the day were fucking awful.
Maybe Aleister Crowley was at that boys' school.
Dude, they were literally... They were fucking like prison. It was just as bad as prison.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was crazy. You had because back then you had a bunch of kids that were doing grown-up shit. Like, they really were working in fucking steel mills and shit like that to help feed their family because their dad didn't come home from the war and shit like that.
They just weren't sitting around making TikToks.
Yeah, TikTok, knick-knock.
They were doing work, manual labor, working on the farm or working in the factory.
Bob Evans down on the farm.
I've been there.
To the Bob Evans farm?
Yeah.
Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it's in Gallipolis.
Where?
Gallipolis, Ohio.
Gallipolis?
Yeah.
Gallipolis tortoises?
There actually is a Bob Evans farm.
Is it like a show bullshit farm?
I'm sure now it is, but there probably was a working farm.
They have like one of each animal just to show people?
I don't know, but it's been there for... I was a kid when I used to go to it. You used to drive right past it.
So right when Pee-wee was around?
Oh, piss off.
He was around until the 80s.
Yeah, well then, yeah. Because you used to drive right past it when I would go back to
Fuck you.
West Virginia to visit my grandparents.
Yeah.
From Ohio. Drive right past it, and we'd stop and get biscuits and gravy.
Sounds about right. So now we get into this story's got some of the best names ever.
Okay.
So while he was in the reform school or industrial school for white boys, Pee-wee alleged and said that he was claimed by Boss Poss. Yeah. He was the big bad boy of the school, and he protected Pee-wee from other boys in return for sexual favors. It's literally like prison. So I'm assuming there's like a fucking 15-year-old kid fucking a 13-year-old kid because he's small and needs protected, and he just walks around and like, if it's anything from like, it's not my childhood, but if it was my childhood, they'd walk around and he'd be like, "Hey, only I fuck Pee-wee. Now give me your pogs and your slammer." Remember pogs?
No.
What, really? It was the stupidest game that everybody got addicted to when I was a kid.
Is that
the little like
triangle?
Cardboard discs, and like you took the slammer and slammed it on a stack, and however many flipped over you got to keep. It was kind of like a trading card mixed with like a early like Beyblade almost.
That sounds stupid, and that's why I don't remember.
It was cheap, is what
I don't remember.
Why it took off, because it's literally just cardboard with stuff fucking printed on it. And, like, they were individual. Like, you know what I mean? You could get different sets with different characters and stuff like that. Like, I had Pogs. And Slammers were, like, heavy ones that you could get different ones. You could get metal ones. Or, like, I had a purple one that smelled like grape. Had a bulldog on it. I was killing it.
Huh.
That was right around the time then those really cool, like, fucking fireball yo-yos came out. That's right. I'm Asian. I know how to do yo-yo tricks. I can do the little fucking
Is that
thing
big in the Asian community?
Yeah. Everything that takes skill is big in the Asian community,
You
especially
racist
manual
motherfucker.
skill.
It just proves that Japanese are the racist motherfuckers on the planet.
No, they just kill their children if they don't excel at what they choose
Even
or disown them.
Even
They're kind of
yo-yo.
like the Duttons.
even yo-yos.
Oh yeah, yo-yos,
mastery.
Rubik's cubes. I mean, just look at fucking origami.
That's just bullshit. That shit.
It's cool though,
Oh,
like
it's
to
cool,
watch. It's cool. I've watched videos of people doing it. It's so cool. So anyway, fuck you guys. There you go. He would. There's one last boss pos moment. He would also loan Pee-wee out to other kids for cigarettes and shit like that.
It was like,
Where were the fucking guards in all this? Like this isn't a reform school. This is just Pee-wee prison.
This was just like day camp. They were trading them around like Pokemon cards.
Right. It's like a jit camp to the extreme.
Well, I blame the parents. Anybody name their kid Pee-wee,
Well, his real name is Donald.
but go by the name of Pee-wee, you're asking for trouble. You're making this kid's life hard. Now, if he was 6'10" and called Pee-wee, that would be ironic and be funny.
Huh, yeah,
Now, his
ironic and funny.
nickname,
That's
if
why
it-
everybody called me Small Dick back in the day.
If they wanted to be cool and possibly save all these people's lives, they should have nicknamed him Big D.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just like this is nothing up to this point is the crazy part. So Pee-wee escaped from reform school multiple times, in fact, and he received differing numbers of lashings for escaping, like up like 20, 30, 50 at a time, which again, like lash him, sure, but like did you talk to him and be like, don't do that, Pee-wee, or did you just like beat the fuck out of him?
Dude, no, they just beat the fuck. You gotta remember, I went to school in the days of SWATs.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of questions being asked.
I don't
Now,
know.
Phil, why did you pull Susie's hair? No, they didn't ask that. They said, Phil, go, SWAT.
Well, I mean, I grew up in the era of school shootings.
Oh, for the love, here we go.
I did. I was around for Columbine.
I grew up in the era where you walk out to school in the parking lot and there'd be shotguns in the truck on the gun racks.
I mean, there's still places that are like that.
And not a school shooting.
I don't know. Like, it's just poor Pee-wee. So, and at one point he actually assaulted a staff member, and for that he was put into solitary confinement and received 20 lashings a day while he was locked in there. That's a lot.
Sounds like a party.
That's a lot for an adult, let alone a kid, because solitary sucks now. Could you imagine how it was back in the day? It was literally what's the one prison? It's in like Utah or Arizona or something, like where the hole is literally a hole. Like it has a doorway and a little building built, and then it's just like the inside of a blown out portion of mountain.
Yeah, but I would think in prison, I don't care what anybody says, solitary is the place to be.
It depends on where you're at.
Even if it's
Not all places are the same.
even if it's a dungeon with rat infested cockroaches crawling all over, it's better than getting raped by some big 300-pound white guy
Well, you just don't get raped.
named. I don't think
You put up this is a well-known fact. Usually, when you go into the prison system, you fucking put up a fight. They're gonna step to you, and they're gonna do it often for the first little while that you're there. And even if you get your ass beat, at least if you fight back, you are no longer worth the trouble for the most part. Unless you can be like extorted or something like that.
that's one way to do it. And
Yeah.
sometimes it works. But if you don't put up a good enough, if you can't fight and you just start swinging like a bitch, you're going to get beat down and fucked repeatedly.
Well, yeah, that's when you hit them with like a fucking food tray. As long as you prove that you're a hassle to fuck with at any point,
But I'm just saying.
that's how you start. That's how you should. That's where the direction you should go if you go to prison. Just
in
let everybody
solitary
know.
confinement, your chance of being raped is very
Death row is the place
minimal.
to be.
Yes.
Have you seen like Indiana's death row?
No.
They have like double or triple size cells and shit. They can have fucking like video game consoles. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like there's still cells, like you can't have like whatever the fuck you want, but like I watched a documentary and they were like, really? An Xbox? And they were like, I mean, he never contacts another human being unless it's a guard or somebody through cell
Right.
door, and he's gonna die. So, fuck it. Like, there's one guy on that documentary had a cat. I guess it just got onto the yard and then followed him inside, and they were like, fuck it. The other inmates on death row like it, so.
It was like, what's his name in Shawshank Redemption? Did he have a
Oh,
mouse or a bird?
He had a bird. He had a crow. What was his name?
Oh,
Fuck.
I can't, because he scratched.
Brooksy.
Brooksy, yeah.
Brooks, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were like, why a cat then? And they were like, it followed him inside, and all the other people on the yard on the line seemed to like having a cat around, so we let him keep the fucking cat. Who gives a shit? And I was watching, I was like, I don't disagree with you. If they have the money or if they have the means to buy a fucking Xbox, it's not like they have Wi-Fi. But like, if you're on death row, I mean, as long as it's not like state provided, I don't give a fuck. You're gonna kill them anyway. They know they're gonna die.
Maybe.
More than likely.
Very
That would
much.
just suck. That would be the worst part about death row, is just knowing but not knowing. It's like, I'm gonna die, but I don't know when.
Well, that's
Like, at that point, if I'm doomed to death and I know somebody's going to kill me because of something I've done or whatever, I would at least I don't know. I don't know if I would want to know. Just gas me in my sleep. That's how they should do it. Everybody wants to talk about being humane and shit. Just gas them in their sleep.
probably, or
Take them to the fucking where they hold you by yourself overnight for like your last meal and shit like that.
their
Just
midnight,
gas that motherfucker while they're in there.
or their midnight snack or dinner.
A shitload of sedatives,
Yeah, and just
and then go.
That would probably be the most humane. Honestly, I've never really thought about that until you said
I
that.
couldn't find his fucking last meal either.
Yeah, that would be much more. I mean,
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, he dies.
humane than
Yeah.
the gas.
Well,
because
we
gas
all.
chamber.
I've heard the
or
gas chamber sucks, and the lethal injection
is horrible. It doesn't kill you right away.
No, and on top of that happening, being that way every time supposedly, there has been some. Have you ever read into that?
No,
There's been a
never.
handful of lethal injections that went horribly wrong.
Like how?
Like they did them in the wrong order, or the wrong dosage for the body size and shit like that. So something just wasn't working, or they put something in that was supposed to like stop their heart before they put in the sedative or something like that.
Huh.
So you've got a person that's fully conscious whose heart is stopping while they're still trying to be alive.
I mean, the worst possible one is probably the electric chair.
Oh yeah, you just get cooked.
What the hell?
Firing squad, personally.
Depends on it's a good shot. Hit you right in the head and be done. But my luck,
I believe the target is the heart.
have half aim at the fucking. Well, don't they only one person has a bullet?
I believe,
and they
they
don't
don't put a bullet in every gun.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's only one or
And
what.
the person who doesn't know they have
Yeah.
the bullets. That way nobody knows who.
Yeah,
actually
everybody
shot.
else gets blanks.
My luck, he'd be a shitty shot and hit me in the gut, and I sit there and bleed out.
Or I mean, like beheading, I guess.
That'd be quick and pain. Yeah, that'd be quick and be in and out.
I mean, your head would only possibly stay alive for like maybe 7 seconds.
If that.
Right. That's not even alive. That's just like still your brain processing stuff, but it's like everything goes slower.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that is like, and we had this conversation. I'm used to be completely pro death penalty, and now I'm not so sure. You know, after doing the West Memphis 3 case,
Yeah.
I'm fully on board with like Pee-wee. In this case, yes, put that fucker to death. As long as you got 100% proof. You know what I'm saying? It has to be beyond a shadow of a doubt. Just not, 12 people thought he was, there can't be questionable evidence.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean.
And I've never been anti-death penalty. It's just it's a situation basis.
But today we have a better, with DNA evidence, as long as it.
Well, and
can't
what
be
kills me
explained.
is the people that are like, people that want the death penalty, and then they want to, like, if you give them life without possibility, they bitch about paying for them, and I'm like, you're gonna pay that money anyway. And personally, if I was like 25 years old, I would probably rather get the death penalty than have life without the possibility.
See,
Because then I just have to waste away.
I don't.
At least then it's over at some point.
But I wonder if some point while you're in prison, you don't get, that just becomes life the way you know it.
What do you mean?
As horrible as it is.
Oh, well, yeah.
You get kind of used to it.
Yeah, you get institutionalized.
You get used to it.
Most people are like that. That's why the prison system of America is fucking terrible.
So theoretically, it's horrible looking at, but if you're in the prison system for 20 years,
yeah,
that 20th year, it's just called Tuesday.
Yeah.
And you're kind of numb to it all. So is it really that bad?
Yeah, again, that's part of the reason why the U.S. incarceration or the U.S. prison system is fucking one of the worst ones for a first world country. Yeah. Like everybody, like people want to talk shit about like Sweden and shit and places like that where like a bunch of money from the government goes to prison for job training skills, but they'll also go there and they get treated a little better. And like I saw one in like Germany or something, they can lock their own rooms behind them. Like the staff can still get into them, but like they have locks where they can lock their room, and they can have TVs and like coffee pots, but they have a crazy low recidivism rate. They don't have that many assaults on inmates or officers, like a negligible amount. And they're like teaching, like you can come out of prison a fucking like straight up electrician. And they usually don't come back to prison because they got something to go do. But anyway, back to the subject at hand, this fucking little twat, literally. So, Pee-wee escaped the reform school again. And during this time, he got married and voluntarily returned to complete his sentence, which he completed, and he was released in 1951 at the age of 18. So he's living life quick, fast, and in a hurry. But
he got married while he was in prison? They let him out to get married and turned him...
No, he escaped.
Oh, he escaped and got married.
Yeah, apparently.
Huh.
But, that's how that goes. But, so he got a job on a tobacco plantation for a little while. And until he was arrested for attacking a teenage girl with a hammer because she allegedly insulted him in 1953. Married to a man or woman. He's a fucking a man of obviously. A racist little white guy in the 30s in South Carolina, or 50s at this point. Of course he was married to a man. They loved gay people back then.
Yes.
So, again, attacked a girl with a hammer for insulting him in 1953, from which he was sentenced to 6 years in prison in South Carolina penitentiary. And he was, here we go again with this one. He was originally claimed by his bunkmate, Arthur, and he would use Pee-wee again for sexual favors and stuff like that. We've already been over that. And when he decided that he wouldn't survive long in his role, I have there in quotations,
as a pincushion?
Role, yeah, as target practice for the dart team, he decided that he needed to become a, quote, power man, which was just basically a bad motherfucker in the prison system. I guess that's what they called him. And they just had clout and nobody fucked with them. You're a power man. I thought that was a questionable band from the early 2000s, but I guess I'm wrong. I wonder if that's where they got their name from. Power Man 5000.
I've never even heard of that band.
Really?
No.
They had a song in the Lil Nicky soundtrack.
Once again, I was not a big Little Nicky fan, so.
I thought Little Nicky was hilarious.
The Popeye's chicken's fucking awesome.
So he decided that his target would be Hazel Brazel, who was the baddest motherfucker in the prison.
With a name like that, you better be a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, he actually, at one point, I guess, like, beat the fuck out of somebody, and, like, I guess he didn't like being called Hazel.
I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
Wonder what his nickname was.
Brazel, I guess. So, this guy's an interesting character. So, Hazel Brazel was, like, had so much power within this prison that he had inmates positioned outside of his cell, like personal security, like his own guards, to make sure nobody would come fuck with him.
Like his own secret service?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he has some mob stuff going on, old Hazel Brazel. But there's a lot of mob stuff going on. Like, I don't even know if I touched on it in my notes, but like at some point, Pee Wee says that he was locked up with somebody from the mob, and like said that they really liked him and gave him a lot of tips on how to do stuff, but that none of that's been corroborated by anybody, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, because that's what the mob does. The mob shares secrets with people. They rub elbows with other humans, period.
Right.
No, the fuck they don't. Unless it's business. And what the fuck business are they going to do with Pee Wee Gaskins? He ain't got shit for him. Murder for hire, maybe, but okay.
But he wouldn't fit their criteria.
No, he's too small.
Well, no.
If you're going to be that short, you got to be really fat to be in the mafia.
Some of the stuff he's done.
Oh, yeah, that he's going to do. Well, already. He's already fucking other dudes, so.
Right. He would not fit the bill for a
yeah
recruitment of the mob.
So this is when this, like and share the video. This is when this, he starts to hatch this plan. So since he worked in the kitchen, he started to steal food from there and sell it. And eventually when Hazel Brazel found out about this, Pee Wee started to bring him extra food, like straight to his cell, and gained his trust over time. Which, makes sense. Bring a man some fucking snowballs and I don't know, Danishes, whatever the fuck. I don't know, whatever a guy like Hazel Brazel eats.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Fun dip?
Fondue?
Jesus. So, one day, Pee Wee went to Hazel Brazel's cell with some goods for him, and the guards were told to let him in. I believe that Hazel Brazel referred to him as a little shit when he told him to let him in. And this is when Pee Wee brandished a knife that he had stolen from the kitchen and stabbed Hazel Brazel in the neck while he was taking a shit.
That's just a shit move right there.
That's just a shitty thing to do.
Yes. Any more shit?
It takes a small man to do something that shitty. Yeah, apparently he said he just like stuck it in the side of his neck and just pulled it out, like towards him.
Oh, as in ripped.
Yeah, what do they call
back to
it?
front.
Irish bow tie or whatever the fuck it is.
Necktie or whatever.
Yeah, some shit. Like the what do they call wife beaters? An Italian smoker's jacket or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or Sicilian, maybe. So, in all this, Pee Wee claimed self-defense for this murder and was sentenced to another 3 years for involuntary manslaughter.
Wait a minute. He killed a guy
while
sitting
he's taking
on the shit, and he claimed self-defense.
Yeah.
Must have been one hell of a shit.
Well, I got COVID. I'm just kidding. Oh, that was a good throat tickle. It's the ghost of Pee Wee. So again, he was given 3 more years for involuntary manslaughter, which a lot of these people that end up in his prison times and being involved in this, none of them are angels, so I can't say I necessarily feel bad for them either.
Right.
But he took this experience to change his ways from being a victim and he was now the aggressor. Which at 5'4" in prison, I feel like you kind of have to be. Yeah. Either that or you have to be batshit crazy, so everybody's just like, oh yeah, he's fucking crazy.
Right.
We're just going to leave him alone. Let him play with his fucking action figures and rip the heads off Barbie dolls by himself. Yeah. If he offers you one, just take it. Don't say anything. Otherwise, he'll cover it in poop and throw it at you in your sleep. Like a chimpanzee.
Yeah. You have to be, when you're of that stature, you have to be a little bit crazy and don't play by the rules. Or
like, you can just be ready to stab people.
Yeah. You got to go that extra mile.
Yeah. So, after some time in solitary for the murder of Hazel Brazel, Pee Wee came back to the general population as a power man, which meant that nobody's going to fuck with him anymore. So he got what he wanted. He did what he had to do to get the position he wanted, which is probably good for him because for real, if he wouldn't have done some of this shit, he probably wouldn't have made out of prison eventually, and we wouldn't be talking about him.
Very true.
Yeah,
it saved a lot of people some torture.
So shortly after this, he hears that his first wife's going to divorce him, so he decided that he had to escape so that he could prove her that he truly loved her, in which He did so in 1955 by hiding in the back of a garbage truck. Yeah. The guards even said, like, they couldn't see somebody, like, you'd have to be so small to pull this off. We never thought it'd be a problem. And they were like, look at him. It's perfect. He didn't even have to fucking bend down.
He just got on in.
Yeah. He's an interesting character. So, his wife, Mary, that was his wife at the time.
The only normal name in the story so far.
She wasn't changing her mind on this. Like, she was leaving Pee-wee, which, good call, girlfriend. So he stole a car and went to Florida, where he found work with a traveling carnival that he had actually already worked for this traveling carnival before in his life. Yeah. This man lived a lot of lives at a young age, from what I've read. So while he was working for the carnival, he met and fell in love with Betty Jean Gates, who was a contortionist in the carnival, who went by the name Zena from Zanzibar.
There we go. If you're gonna fall in love with a
Well, yeah, he quickly became just obsessed with her just immediately fell in love with her. Like, she's a contortionist.
You can bend those legs whichever fucking way you want.
But at the same time, I didn't look at her up because I was afraid to look her up because I was like, I feel like she looks like a fucking catcher's mitt.
Probably, but that's not the point.
Like, she's flexible. She looks like shit, but she's flexible.
If you can get those legs going a certain direction when you're Pee-wee, you can get a little bit deeper penetration.
She looks like a flaming chimpanzee that got put out with a softball bat.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
that paints a serious picture right there.
Right? You're welcome. So Pee-wee drove Betty to Tennessee for a, quote, family emergency, where she said she had to go take care of some stuff. So, excuse me. So she had him bring cigarettes to her brother who was locked up. And she also told Pee-wee at that point that she was wanted in several states.
Sweet.
Yeah. Everything starts off so kind of normal-ish.
Sounds like a match made in heaven.
Immediately escalates at 1,000,000 miles an hour in this guy's life. It's crazy. So he delivered the smokes to... without questioning her, because he's in love with her fucking backwards double-jointed leg vagina. And, yeah, so he didn't ask any questions. Now, when he returned to the hotel, Betty was gone, and she had taken the stolen car and taken off with her quote-unquote brother, who was actually her husband, who had escaped the jail in that time using a razor that she had hidden in the carton of cigarettes.
She didn't even bake a fucking cake and hide it in the cake?
Why go through all that problem if you can just slide it in a carton of smokes? And then you got smokes for the road trip. Till the stolen car runs out of gas. Well, I guess you can get gas back then. I'd rather
have a cake for the road trip. Fat boy got to eat.
I'd rather have the cigarettes. I get angry if I'm in a car for too long without a smoke, even if I got to stop.
Okay.
But yeah. So that was he just got completely butt fucked on that one.
Yep.
Her brother that he brought shit to was her husband, and then he used the shit that he made him take in there. He took the risk of taking it in there to escape, which leads us to he was then rearrested, remanded to custody, and paroled in August of 1961 after serving 3 years in a federal prison. This is an additional 3 years that got tacked onto his original sentence in Atlanta for driving a stolen vehicle during the time he had escaped. The stolen vehicle that got stolen from him. He caught a Fed charge for it.
He might be the dumbest criminal ever. So up to this point,
yeah. So after he was released in 1961, he lived with his mom and his stepfather in Florence, South Carolina, where he worked on a tobacco plantation again until he threatened somebody with a pitchfork. So he then lived with his cousin. Really nothing to talk about there, I guess. And then after he was released from prison, he went. After he was released from prison, he had that time, and then over time slowly started getting back into the burglary and the selling of stolen goods to make money. And after that, after the tobacco farm and shit, he also worked for a traveling preacher named George Todd for almost a year before he started robbing the homes of the people that would attend George Todd's sermons.
Sounds like a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah. Well, he even said in his book or in an interview that George Todd was actually a good guy, and that's why he never made a bunch of money, because he wasn't actually trying to fleece people that followed him. He just actually wanted to preach the word to them
So you're
instead
saying
of taking advantage of
he's
them.
not like the
Everyone.
TV
He's not like everyone.
evangelist now.
Fuck a televangelist. Those
You know,
fucking
that God
cockbags.
wants them to have
Oh, God.
another private jet.
Literally tie like a double wrapped thickness line of fucking dental floss around the tips of their dicks and drag them behind horses.
Ow.
It wouldn't really go that long if you think about it. I'm pretty sure as soon as it like went taut, it would just like the head off.
Oh, fuck you. Stop. Just.
You're welcome.
Oh, God.
So 2 years
Podcast over.
2 years after he was paroled from prison, he was arrested for raping a 12-year-old girl, but escaped by jumping out a window at the courthouse and driving a stolen car to Greensboro, North Carolina, while he was awaiting sentence. He's really good at getting out of prison and jail.
Apparently, he's a little Houdini.
And that's where he met his fourth wife. Yeah, there's a lot. I didn't even
hung like a motherfucking horse.
Or was there just not options?
Probably both.
Yeah. So this is when he met his fourth wife, who he left to go back to his third wife in Georgia. Yeah.
I'm so confused.
So then they were pulled over while driving to Florida, and Pee Wee ran from the police and then returned back to his fourth wife in North Carolina, who quickly reported him. Yeah. He's making good life choices. He's killing it. So he was rearrested in Georgia and sentenced to another 8 years in prison.
How in the world did this guy ever start a serial killer career? He can't get out of jail.
Right.
He can get out, but he always goes back.
Right. So, well, mind you, over this course of this time, he claims a bunch of what are called the coastal killings.
Oh.
Which there might have been one that he may have committed. Other than that, there's nothing to back up that he committed any of them. And there was quite a few of those. There was a lot.
Okay.
But where was I? So this idiot. He was returned to a prison where he was already considered a power man. So this prison sentence was pretty easy for him. Lucky him. So also he was paroled from this one. There was nothing to talk about, I guess, in this one. Nothing crazy comparatively to all the other shit times he was locked up.
He laid low this stint.
Well, I mean, if you don't have to fucking prove yourself or anything and you can just fucking cruise, just cruise. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he was paroled in November of 68, I think. Or is that 66? That's 68. I don't know. It's too far away.
I don't even know where you're at.
Right there.
Right there. Thank you.
Yeah, you like that? So he moved to Sumter, South Carolina. Yeah, I should have made the font a little bigger on this. It's just the numbers. God damn it. Now I know. What did I do? I think I did 12, so I'll do 14 next time. Oh, it's in 21, so I'll do 24. Problem solving on the spot. Boom, bang, bang, boom. Fuck you. So he went to Sumter, South Carolina, and worked for a roofing company. He's also got a shitload of job experiences at this point, too.
Right.
Yeah, he just never does the same thing twice other than the carnival, I guess, and stealing shit. Which I feel like kind of go hand in hand. Call me crazy.
You're crazy.
Carnies usually traditionally aren't the most well-liked people. At least not back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this time, Pee Wee decided that he wasn't going to give up doing illegal shit, but he wasn't going to go back to jail. Yes. So
we got quite a conundrum.
So no, he just. So that gets me into that was the time where he started claiming that he started getting the feeling that he wanted to kill, which for somebody who doesn't want to go back to jail but doesn't want to stop doing illegal shit probably isn't the worst thing you could start wanting to do, because then it allows you to dispose of witnesses.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it might be a little dark for some people, but fuck you.
Tying up loose ends, essentially.
It's my world. You're just living in it.
That's true.
So he claimed to be responsible for, this is where we get into the coastal killings, for the coastal killings along the East Coast, but bullshit. It's a lie.
You're not putting any merit behind it?
No. I wouldn't be shocked if he had committed a couple, maybe, of what was claimed as coastal killings, but not most of them. Now, the first murder that he claims was that of a female hitchhiker who he picked up and punched in the head until she passed out, then tied her up while she was unconscious. He supposedly cut off her nipple.
Ow.
And from what I read, he cut off her nipple and like put it between his teeth and like laughed at her.
That's sick fuck.
And then forced her to eat it. Yeah. And I think he cut off the other one too.
And this is the mild shit.
Yeah.
We're only going downhill
Yeah,
from here.
he forced her to swallow her own nipple and then drove to a swampy area where he put her in the back of the truck. I have committed, quote unquote, genital torture on the woman with an 11-inch knife.
Ow.
Yeah. This was one of the ones, I don't mind fucked up shit, but even I toned back a lot of the verbiage of these stories because this one, he gets a little fucked up. Obviously. So after that, he tied her to a log and lowered the woman and the log into the swamp using the like, I guess he had some type of a crank on the back of his truck.
Oh, like a winch type thing?
Yeah. Ye old winch. He lowered the woman and the log into the swamp until the bubble, and just sat there until the bubble stopped coming up. And then he went and had a fat ass steak dinner.
After a hard day's work, I guess
Yeah.
you go eat a steak.
It's been a hard day's night. And
You're working like a dog.
she is sleeping with a log.
Oh,
Hey, shout out to the Beatles.
I don't see
Fuck
that
you.
written. I don't see that written up there. Just how long you been sitting on that one?
I didn't. I just kind of made it up. I started singing Hard Day's Night after you said it, and I was like, log rhymes with dog. So, in November 1970, Pee-wee committed the first of a series of confirmed murders.
Confirmed.
Yes, this is where we're getting into the stuff that we, like he actually got charged for. Blah, 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 blah. So, most of the people he ends up killing are people he knew, and he killed them for personal reasons. Which,
if
you kill somebody you know, it's usually for personal reasons.
Yeah, but
I feel like it's a little redundant.
This really isn't. He's really not a serial killer. He's just, because I look at serial killer. Now I'm not working for the FBI at all, but I would think he's just a murderer. A serial killer doesn't hunts his victim. Does not know.
Well,
I mean, yes, you can sprinkle a few, I guess, known.
well, I mean,
associates.
acquaintance. I don't think acquaintance really weighs into it.
I just consider that a murder.
Well, I mean, when you go fucking as far as he does.
I mean, because you don't consider mob hitmen serial killers. They're called murderers or hitmen.
Yeah.
They're doing it for a reason.
Yeah, but that's for hire too. Then you're putting money in this situation.
Eh,
Like money for the act of killing the person.
okay, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I feel
Okay.
like that
splitting.
muddies the waters quick though.
Yeah,
In that specific situation.
In my head, I just think of a serial killer picking somebody at random.
Oh no, but he killed a bunch of people.
Okay.
So his first confirmed murder was his niece, Janice Kirby, who was 15, and her friend Patricia Allsbrook, who was 17.
His niece. He killed his niece.
His niece was Janice Kirby, Janice.
Huh.
Yeah, he ran into the girls at a bar, and Janice had too many drinks. So their friend asked Pee-wee if he would take her home, and when he said yes, but Patricia also went with them because everybody around kind of knew Pee-wee was a little bit fucking weird. Yeah, so we got drunk underage kids to start with. Well, I don't know what the laws in South Carolina were at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's a bit young, but okay.
So he took them to a diner for a cup of coffee to try to sober them up. But when they left, instead of taking them home, he took them to an abandoned house. And at that point, he held Janice at knife point. And when Patricia started to fight back, he hit her in the head with a piece of lumber. I believe it was a 2x4. You know, very
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Ah! So, during this whole thing, the girls actually took off out of the house, but they stopped and returned because Pee-wee fired a warning shot in the air. And then once he got them back inside, he pistol whipped both of them unconscious. And when they came back in the house, because they started to fight again once they came back in the house. Good kids. Good fucking at least attempt. So he beat him unconscious. as is tradition. And then he tied the girls up and put Patricia in the trunk. He drove her to another abandoned house where he knew that there was a septic tank, put her in the septic tank, and waited for the bubbles to stop again before he drove back to the house where he left Janice. So he drowned the girl in a fucking septic tank. Yeah. So Janice, by the time he got back, died from the injury she received from him pistol whipping the fuck out of her. So he buried her in the backyard of that abandoned house. Added in detail, these are confirmed because Pee-wee himself did lead authorities to the bodies of both these girls.
Okay. So
yeah, so I mean, at least there's a little bit of honesty coming from him now. So the police knew he had been with the girls. So when they questioned him about the whereabouts, he told the authorities that the girls were talking about running to California with some guys. And since there was no bodies at the time or any real evidence to suggest anything, the authorities just chalked up to the girls as runaways, and no paperwork for murder or any type of abduction was filed for
which
this.
was common at the time.
Yeah. But, yeah. So we get into another good one. Shortly after that double homicide, if you want to call it that, amongst other things. I don't really have the time to list all the things that were wrong with that. Incest. Or attempted incest, I guess, because he killed her first. Well, I guess, niece, no, that's incest. I was saying, depending on the state, depending on the cousin level.
Well,
you're from West Virginia. I'm pretty sure you can be like fucking brothers.
Is worse than a cousin for sure.
I feel like we shouldn't get into the argument of what level of family member it is okay to fuck.
Well, you are closer biologically to a niece, I would think, than a cousin. You share more DNA because it's close. It's a closer relation, I believe. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, well,
I could be wrong. It's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up either way. So yeah, shortly after that double homicide, Pee-wee kidnapped, raped, and murdered a 13-year-old girl named Peggy Catino. Now, according to Pee-wee, she had disrespected him, and after a few days of stewing on it, he went to the bar he regularly frequented so that there were people to corroborate the alibi of him being at that bar. And then he left quietly and went back to the county where Peggy lived, where he raped her, tortured her, and killed her, purposely leaving her body to be found.
Where we've moved to actually raping 13-year-old
yes.
girls.
And like I said, he left the body so it would, like, he wanted it to be found. And I think the reason he wanted to be found and why this case was given special treatment is because Peggy's dad was a senator.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So he was never a real suspect in the case, but a man named William Pierce was convicted of the murder instead. And he did end up getting killed. Now, again, William Pierce was also a fucking dickhead, and he was on his way to prison for life for rape and murder already. So same thing would have happened to that guy either way. Right. So nobody feel bad for that fuck. So this is when Pee-wee, it started to ramp up. He started to get real ballsy at this point. He's getting away. He just raped and killed a 13-year-old girl whose dad's a senator.
You got away with it.
You got to think you're on top of the world as far as being a fucking piece of shit.
He's untouchable at this point.
Yeah. So
in his mind.
So again, as he started to get ballsy, he bought a Cadillac hearse that he started driving around town in. And it had stickers that said, we haul anything, dead or alive.
What an asshole.
Which I think he added the alive or dead or alive part himself. And also had a sticker on it that said, support your local sheriff. And he also mounted a crank siren. So he could drive around and, I guess he liked to drive by the bars he went to and like fuck with people.
This guy was just a prick.
Yeah, he was a real fucking asshole. If he didn't kill and rape people, like, he would have been kind of cool. Like, if it was just the hearse, if it was just the weird little guy with the hearse and shit, all right, I can live with that. As soon as you start fucking raping and killing people,
now we've crossed the fucking line.
Call me crazy. That's a bugaboo for me. So, back to killing. In March 1971, he killed 20-year-old Martha Ann Dix, who went by Clyde.
What?
Yeah, her last name was Dix, and she went by Clyde. I don't know. So, Martha was a black woman that worked at the same garage as Pee Wee and had a lot of back and forth interaction with him. Obviously, they work in the same place.
Right.
She really liked to fuck with him, and she started telling everybody at the shop that she and Pee Wee were hooking up, and that over time grew into her telling people that she was pregnant and Pee Wee's was the father. And she told people around the shop that the kid was going to have her last name and his first name, which would name the kid Pee Wee Dix.
I like her.
Yeah, that one's kind of funny. That one's kind of good. Well done, Clyde.
That's a long way to go for a joke.
Yeah, well done.
Like her.
Well done, Clyde. So he ended up taking Martha. I guess he offered her like alcohol and weed or something like that to go hang out or some shit. So he took her to another abandoned house, gave her a drink that was spiked with some kind of a poison, and then while she was dying, I'm assuming from the poison, lowered her body into the water just like the last one. Yeah, so that one was quick and easy, I guess. Bye, Clyde. This is where we get to the warning. There's literally says warning.
It does. I'm looking at it. It says warning.
And I'm going to say warning on this one. This one is really fucked up, and I actually toned this one down a lot.
Yeah, this is one.
If we depending on how this goes, I might bring up some of the quotes from him that I didn't put in here, just to explain the the level of just sociopathic, just fucking shitbag human being we're talking about.
Right. Okay.
So
tread lightly.
Yeah. So June of 1973, a friend of Pee Wee's named Doreen Dempsey had gotten pregnant again. She already had a 2-year-old, but she had gotten pregnant. But this time, the dad was a black man, which upset Pee Wee for reasons that are obvious that we've talked about with Pee Wee already. Doesn't like the people that have any melanin.
Wait. Stop 1 sec. Was there any truth to the fact? Was he really hooking up with Clyde, or she just made it up? He never admitted to it. Not that was confirmed, at least. But
I never saw anything that said that he did, or that there was any real suspicion of it.
I just wonder if it was a lie, or maybe he was tapping it.
He was getting some of that dark chocolate.
Yeah, I was just curious.
They're trying to make a little cookies and cream Hershey's baby.
Oh, speaking of cookies and cream, we're going off fucking topic. I went and got ice cream last night.
So good. Cookies and cream ice cream is the best.
UDF has chocolate cookies and cream.
Huh. They had peanut butter cookies and cream at one point.
But it's chocolate ice cream with cookies and Oreo cookies in it.
I don't know if I like that. I like the vanilla part of it.
I almost blew a load just looking at it through and I didn't get it because I just wanted a milkshake.
Yeah. Well, they had the peanut butter cookies and cream was Oreos and peanut butter ice cream.
Okay.
That was fucking good.
Sorry, folks.
Now I kind of want ice cream. So, so according to police reports, Doreen was sent to talk to Pee Wee about staying with him while she was pregnant by a couple of their mutual friends, Johnny Sellers and his brother. And while she was there, he drowned Doreen and her 2-year-old daughter in the pond behind the house.
Nice.
That's what
fucking
the police report says. Now we're going to get into the story that Pee Wee told in his book, Final Truth. According to Pee Wee, he knew Doreen for years, and he had known her stepfather because they worked together at the traveling carnival.
Okay.
And the two of them had a long relationship of visiting with one another and shit like that, just as friends. Like they had, I guess he did have some normal parts of life, surprisingly. So Doreen visited Pee Wee with Johnny Sellers and told Pee Wee that she didn't have anywhere to go with her already 2-year-old daughter Robin and her soon-to-be-born child. So he told her that there wasn't room in his home for her child, the child to come, himself, his wife, and his son. I feel like he wouldn't have a big enough house for that. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
excuse me. So he took Doreen on a walk after everyone went to sleep, and that's where he told her that he had a trailer she could stay at, but he didn't want his wife to know or anyone else to know about that. So she would be allowed to stay there rent-free as long as she would give Pee-wee regular servicing.
So blow him every now and then.
Yeah, a live-in sex worker? Not really, because I guess you are getting
taking it out in trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they returned, she told Pee-wee's wife that she had decided to go back to Charleston, as her and Pee-wee had already agreed upon. And Pee-wee, Doreen, and Robin left the house in the hearse, of course, because he told his wife that he had given her $20 and was going to take her to the bus station so she could go back to where I believe her mother was in Charleston.
Okay.
So a few miles down the road, Pee-wee pulled off the main road and told Doreen to give him a blowjob. Direct and to the point. So she was hesitant because her 2-year-old daughter was there. Rightfully so. But she reluctantly started climbing in the back and started to give Pee-wee what he wanted. He reached over at that point while she was doing that to Robin, her daughter, and started taking off Robin's clothes. The 2-year-old.
What?
Yeah. I told you, this is... wait. This is why this one had a warning. This one's fucked. So he started taking off Robin's clothes, and when Doreen stopped and asked what he was doing, he hit her on the side of the head with a ball-peen hammer and knocked her unconscious. So he then claims... He then calmed Robin down because he had just knocked his mom out with a fucking hammer, her mom, and told her that mom was just asleep. And at that point, he basically forced Robin to take over where her mom stopped.
A 2-year-old.
Yes. Yes. So he made her pick up where her mom left off, and he continued to then rape and sodomize her, and says that he choked her to death upon climax.
There's nothing to be said. I mean,
yeah. See, that's what I wrote. Imagine when it's coming from his mouth.
He didn't, tone it down. He probably went.
Yeah, like he talked about how he needed to touch her and feel of her and taste of her in his horrible grammar, of course.
Okay, he's a sick fuck.
Yeah.
Well, we knew this going into it, but now.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not gonna go into the direct quotes because I don't feel like quoting somebody about raping and sodomizing a 2-year-old girl. Yeah. And killing eventually. Like you kill her first. Like, fuck, that would be better. I would be more okay with the necrophilia. Not more okay, but it would it would sting less to hear.
The child would not have suffered.
Yes, like it would hurt less for my ears to hear that.
Right. I don't know. That's just
which is crazy to say.
That's just fucked up.
Yeah. So after all this, since he couldn't lift Doreen, he tied a rope around her ankles and dragged her where he would ultimately dig her grave. And then he dug a hole, put Doreen in the hole, still alive, and slit her throat before burying her. He found a spot by the trunk of a tree where he buried Robin's body, and they did find these bodies where Pee-wee told them they would find them.
So we have, 4 technically confirmed now? Or is it 2? Yeah, 4 confirmed.
Yes.
His niece and...
The other girl and these two. Yes.
Okay.
Now we can lighten up a little bit. It doesn't get quite as bad as that.
But can we really lighten up after hearing that?
It's like I said, that's why I didn't want to use direct quotes. Like, the direct quotes are fucking terrible.
Or not even a quote, just the knowledge of...
Oh, no, the quotes are even worse.
Sodomizing a fucking 2-year-old.
Yeah.
There's a special place in hell for that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't even deserve hell. I don't even know what he deserves. So, anyway, moving on. Excuse me. Pee-wee, at this point, was making good money stripping cars and shit off stolen cars. And in June 1974, Pee Wee shot Johnny Sellers, who was 36, over a money dispute pertaining to money owed to Sellers for the sale of a stolen boat. He also killed 22-year-old Jessie Ruth Judy because she could tell the cops about all the criminal activity, including the fact that she could confirm that he had killed her boyfriend, Johnny Sellers. Now, it was alleged that Jessie Judy's ex-husband, James, hired Pee Wee to kill them because Jessie was having an affair with Johnny. But James Judy was convicted of these murders, actually. But Pee Wee claims that James had nothing to do with the actual crimes.
So the ex-husband got sentenced for it?
Yeah. Or, well, he got convicted of it.
Right.
So jump up to 1975. Where are we at? An hour and a half already? Oh, we're doing good. So jump to 1975, Pee Wee's, quote, most killingest year, in his words.
Killing it. He was killing it.
That might be his most grammatically correct thing he's ever said. Reading the pages of that book is like it. You literally have to stop and convince yourself that it's okay to be reading something as wrong as it is.
Right.
Like that's how bad the grammar is. And he literally just makes up words. Like which they do down south and shit. Like they got fucking random little nicknames for shit and stuff like that nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. Excuse me again. So in February of 1975, Pee Wee was at one of his favorite bars when he was approached by a man he knew from his time in prison named John Powell, who told Pee Wee that he thought he was the perfect man for a murder for hire. Yeah. Oh, dude, he covers all the bases. So that takes us to Suzanne Kipper Owens, who was having a dispute over things that were bought for her by her ex, Silas Barnwell Yates. Suzanne and her husband, John Owens, allegedly paid Pee Wee $1,500 to murder Silas Yates, which in the 75,
that's a lot of money.
like $20,000 probably now.
Maybe not that much, but maybe.
Not enough for a fucking hit. Not for me.
Well, if you're already a fucking murderer and a rapist,
still,
you probably would have done it for much less.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'd want more personally. So anyway, Pee Wee, for how stupid he wasn't that stupid. he allegedly. Oh wait, sorry, that was the John Owens line. Excuse me, yeah, rewind that shit. Fuck me, right? So Pee Wee used one of his good friends, Diane Neely, as bait and had her knock on Silas's door saying that she was having problems with her car. And when Silas walked out to the car, Pee Wee emerged with a gun and ordered him to get in the trunk. Now, they drove the car with Silas in the trunk to a remote area where John Powell and another man were waiting. John Powell being the guy that he was in prison with that brought him up, his name up for the job.
Right.
Pee Wee stabbed Silas multiple times in the chest and told Powell and the other man to bury the body. That's pretty much the end of that one.
Okay. Wait, but the girl was with him too?
I don't know if she went with him to the burial site. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
But she still knew what was going on.
Yeah.
That's a witness.
Oh, she comes up later.
Okay.
So a couple of months later, Diane had left John Owens and had started a relationship with 34-year-old Avery Howard. Diane told Avery about the murder of her ex-boyfriend, and when the couple needed money, they decided to extort Pee Wee for $5,000 to keep their mouths shut, even though she was fucking involved in the murder of Silas Yates anyway.
She's not the sharpest tool.
Yeah, like, you fucking dumb. So Pee Wee said he had money buried and did the old the bar alibi thing again, where he went to the bar and slid out while nobody was paying attention. And then led to the couple to a place where he said he had money buried. There was no money. This was where he had gone to bury Johnny Sellers and Jessie Judy. Now, when they got to the spot, all they saw was the hole that Pee Wee had already dug for them. And before they could get away, Pee Wee shot them in the head, dropped their bodies in the grave. Buried them.
Well, if he just would have killed her in the first place.
Right. And, like, how are you going to try to extort somebody when you were part of the fucking crime?
Yeah, that's ballsy. I'll give her
you
that.
Dumb fuck. Like, clearly that bullet didn't have to travel through very much brain. idiot.
Not the smartest move. I will grant you that.
So this brings us to the next one. 13-year-old Kim Gaskins lived next door to Pee Wee and very sternly turned down Pee Wee's advances.
As I would hope she would.
Yeah, good girl. Until he kidnapped, raped, and stabbed her to death and buried her body next to Silas Yates. Since now this is where we start to catch on, because since she wasn't the type to be like a runaway or anything.
Right.
That was actually taken as a missing person case, and police started paying a little bit more attention to all of the shit that Pee Wee was running his mouth about, because Pee Wee was running his mouth around town about all kinds of shit.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was a cocky prick. Like, for somebody who didn't want to go back to jail, he didn't do he didn't do a very good job of it, but yet he fucking remained out of prison for how long?
Well, what?
For a decent amount of time. We're in 75 still.
So
this is all 75.
So we're at least 12 years so far? Didn't he get out? No, 68.
68. So 7 years. Like, that's a good
years,
period of time. I mean, I'm sure he probably did some overnighters in that time. But
yeah.
So on to the next one. 27-year-old Dennis Bellamy and 15-year-old Johnny Knight were half brothers, and Dennis Bellamy was Diane Neely's biological brother. Diane that he's killed.
Okay, yeah.
So Dennis and John broke into Pee Wee's garage and stole a substantial amount of his shit. Like, almost all of his shit, apparently. Now, Pee Wee was tipped off by Walter Neely. Yeah. Pee Wee was Walter Neely's power man in prison, and Neely is kind of the catalyst for how most of the people knew in these murders knew Pee Wee.
Okay.
So I'm sure he had trouble sleeping at night. So after Walter told Pee Wee about this, he had Walter tell Dennis and John that he wasn't mad and he wanted to reward them for having the balls to rob him.
They fell for that bullshit?
I think that I don't know. I don't even know if I find that to be true. That sounds like some shit that he made up thinking that it sounded cool because he said he was in jail with the mafia guy.
Okay, yeah.
But I guess that holds up to this point.
But how stupid do you have? Did these kids not know who he was? I'm sure he had a little bit of a reputation.
Oh, yeah. People knew who Pee Wee was.
You don't want to steal from somebody with...
Not if you're staying in town.
A hard reputation or of doing some shady shit. That's the last person you want to steal from.
So, Pee Wee and Walter said they wanted to take Dennis to a place where he thought he could build a new garage, where they shot Dennis in the back of the head. They returned to tell John how excited Dennis was about the new location and that he should come see it too, and he also shot him in the back of the head when they got there. So this one was pretty easy.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Now, Pee Wee actually said that he liked Walter Neely, and so he decided to test him by test his loyalty. And he started by having him dig John's grave, and telling him that he killed his ex-wife, Diane. And he even went as far as to ask if Walter thought that Pee Wee was in the right for murdering her, and Walter said he was. The only problem Walter vocalized with Pee Wee was the killing of John Knight, because he was only a 15-year-old kid.
That's the only thing
Yeah, I guess.
Well, at least he had standards, I guess.
Yeah, so eventually Walter did end up going to the authorities about the murders, and police found clothes from one of Pee Wee's previous victims, which didn't automatically make for a murder charge against him. But Walter
DNA wasn't a thing right back then.
No. And Walter, well, it may have been, but
I know back
not like that. Like maybe hair follicles and shit.
I don't even think that. I don't think that came in until the 80s.
They had fingerprints back in fucking Villisca, like I said. Like,
well, yeah, fingerprints.
It's surprising the shit that pops up.
I don't think DNA really popped off till the
I doubt it.
80s. That could be wrong.
But so that didn't automatically drop a murder charge on him. But Walter also eventually led police to the bodies of Johnny Knight, Dennis Bellamy, Johnny Sellers, Jesse Judy, Avery Howard, Diane Neely, and Doreen and Robin Dempsey.
Well, this is why you don't bury bodies all in the same place.
This is why you fucking... I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Pee Wee's a piece of shit and he deserved to what ended up happening to him. But you should have fucking killed Walter too.
Okay.
If this was a movie, I would be sitting here go, you should have killed him. That's going to be the guy. He's going to be the problem.
I agree.
So Pee Wee was charged with 1 count of murder and sentenced to death. But the death sentence was commuted to a life in prison when South Carolina followed the U.S. Supreme Court's guidelines for the death penalty. Excuse me. I have heartburn. And the reason that he only got 1 murder charge is it was kind of a get it done with, get him out of here kind of thing.
Just to get him off the streets.
Yeah. Like, just be done with him and call it a day.
I guess too much can go wrong with multiple murder charges in a trial. I don't know, but
yeah. So we're actually almost done. Because 75 was a lot of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Pee Wee's final murder would happen while he was behind bars for life. And this was the murder of Rudolph Tyner, who was 23 years old, who was on death row in the same prison as Pee Wee for the double murder of the owners of Merle's Inlet convenience store, Bill and Myrtle Moon, after he robbed them on March 18th, 1978. The Moon's son, Tony Kimo, or Simo, or something, I don't know, paid Pee Wee $2,000 to kill Rudolph Tyner.
Understandable.
Yes.
Don't blame that kid.
So Pee Wee actually made several attempts to kill Tyner, poisoning his food and drink and shit, unsuccessfully. So Pee Wee got his hands on some C4 plastic explosive, rigged up a device that was similar to a portable radio in Tyner's cell, and told Tyner that they would be able to talk between cells with it. So Pee Wee told Tyner to hold the radio up to his ear to test it, and when Pee Wee heard Tyner's voice, he detonated the device, which caused a sizable explosion.
I would say.
And Pee Wee was quoted as saying the last thing Tyner heard was him laughing. Now, how this happened, I don't know, because you can actually go on the internet and hear really shit quality recordings of him talking to the Moon's son via phone, asking him, saying like stuff like, I just need a stick of dynamite. And he's like, I can't do that. And he's like, well, like there's literally recorded prison phone conversations about him asking for dynamite and shit.
I would think I'm sorry, but that's a little bit.
That's cause for a lockdown, I think.
There's much easier ways to kill somebody, I believe.
There is, but there's literally fucking phone calls recorded that you can still listen to. So we're going to wrap this one up now. So that was it. They were done with fucking, the state of South Carolina was fucking done with Pee Wee. So he was charged with the murder and sentenced to death. Now Pee Wee tried to kill himself like the night before his execution date by slitting his wrists unsuccessfully. You can do all this shit, but you can't fucking kill yourself, you piece of shit. So he was executed in the electric chair that he basically had to jump into because he was so small.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Picturing him,
he had to hop up into the electric chair when they executed him.
I will say that's kind of funny.
Yeah. On September 6, 1991, his last words were, "I'll let my lawyers talk for me. I'm ready to go."
Holy shit! I had just graduated fucking high school when he got executed. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this story went on further than I thought it did when I originally heard about it.
I am that fucking old.
Yeah, so that would have made him what? Say
33.
58?
60.
Yeah, 33 yeah. Plus 8 is 40. Wait. Yeah, plus 8 is 41, plus 50 is 91. 58.
Huh. Wait. 41. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's 58.
You sure?
Add 8 to 33, you have 41. And then just add 50 to that.
Okay. Damn, that seems like he should be older.
Right? Well, yeah, because 60 years would be 99. Or 93.
All right, whatever. I never said I could do that.
So, yeah, that's...
I'm an idiot.
That's the overall story
right.
of this fuckstick piece of
Let's-
shit. This little fucking pocket-sized prick of a man
Let's get into some.
that deserves much more,
Uh-oh.
much worse than the fucking death penalty.
Hold on. Let's get this out here. Let's get into.
Oh, look, it's us.
Let's
Hi.
get into the meat and
Hi,
potatoes.
us.
Welcome. Jessica's here. We didn't say hi because Travis was on a roll. Welcome.
Oh yeah, once I get to a certain point in reading, I just can't
And
stop.
Gregory has some. He's just commenting up a storm here. According to Gregory, O.J. Simpson trial was the first time DNA was used in a trial.
That worked out well.
I sounds about right to me, but I'm sure.
I believe it, but they didn't do a
But,
very good
like,
job because
which
OJ
fit-
did that shit.
Which fits in. DNA was, I guess, invented in probably the late 70s, early.
Yeah.
They were perfecting it in the 80s. But what
All right, you get into this.
do you want me to get into?
I don't know. Just talk for like 15 seconds while I go get my water.
I mean, this. Okay. This ass bag had me. I mean, come on, killing a fucking 2-year-old, sodomizing a 2-year-old. He deserved to be castrated. He deserved that dental floss trick you were talking about earlier in the podcast. I don't know what the hell. Did you bring it in here?
The lobby or Los Angeles apartment.
Yes. No, but this guy. Jesus. Get another Gatorade.
I'm just thirsty as fuck after all that reading.
No, but this guy's a complete and total fuck nut. Jesus Christ. I mean, killing somebody's bad enough, but killing and sodomizing a 2-year-old, fuck that. I can't, no, there's no, you can never justify murder to a certain extent, except for somebody murdering him.
Self-defense and shit, like,
Right, murdering him.
or in defense of like your loved ones or innocent people.
I mean, I would justify if that 13-year-old lynch mob, or the lynch mob that when he was 13, when he raped that girl,
They should have killed him.
I justify.
They should have killed him.
But how sick and demented and just all around fucked up do you have to be to even have?
Well, now that we're at this point, if anybody really wants to hear some of it, like some of the shit that he said in his book about that murder of Robin Dempsey, the 2-year-old, like he literally, what were his words? He said, "I choked her to death when I cummed in her ass."
What a God.
Yeah, those were his exact words about killing Robin Dempsey.
Jesus Christ. I mean, God. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Which is horrible for a fucking podcast.
Yeah. Like, you were here. I mean, the computer's right fucking there, right next to the TV
When
in
you were doing the
the
research.
lobby of the LA building. And, like, he saw, like, I had to sit there and just kind of do the forehead rub for, like, a solid couple of minutes to try to figure out how I wanted to tackle that story.
I mean, that's just, I don't know. This is why I don't like true crime.
Yeah.
Because I mean, guys like the Iceman, Kuklinski.
See, but that's
Which
the
are
thing
kinda-
is, like, everybody, if you're really into true crime like I am, a lot of it is, like, interest in the psychology behind it.
There's no interest. There's no psychology behind this. Is just straight deranged.
Well, there is the psychology of the person involved. Like, what happened? Where
Just
was,
pure
were you
evil.
born this way, or where's the break?
Pure fucking evil.
Yeah, I think he was just meant to be a fuckbag piece of shit.
He
Would you
could've
call him
been
an ass bag?
ass bag?
What is an ass bag? Is that like that
It's a
thing?
bag
they
of asses. I don't
is that the
fucking
thing
know.
they hang on behind the horses on those horse-drawn carriage
I
rides?
think so, actually.
Who the fuck thought of that? Like, there's got to be a better way.
I would think just let it go because once you drive past it, you can't smell it anymore.
Exactly, and now
And
you're
now-
just carting it around, and then everybody's gonna be like, "I'm driving through horse shit." Well,
I
get a taller car.
I don't know. I can't handle fucking 2-year-olds.
Killing
Or even-
kids is bad enough. You take it to this point, and it's fucking atrocious.
I mean, like the 13 and 15-year-olds is bad enough, but when you go
2,
2-year-old, what?
they can't even like fully talk yet.
Oh. God, it's just fucking. I don't. Can we just do next true crime? Do like a simple bank robbery or something? God.
Oh, we could do fuck. What was it? The biggest heist in the world at the time. It happened in like Virginia or something like that.
As long as there's no 2-year-olds getting fucked and killed, we could do it.
It was the movie they based. Fuck, what was that movie?
The Italian Job.
No, the one is Zach Galifianakis. He said, "Good Lord, Janice, you farted right into my butthole. It was like a fart transplant."
I think the only movie he's been in that I've seen are The Hangovers.
Oh, you never seen Due Date?
No.
It's him and Robert Downey Jr. That one's funny as fuck.
Oh, that would be fun.
But
yeah, Jessica even agrees with me. Yes, bank robbery, please. Let's get off this sick.
Well, we don't want to talk about like Andre Chikatilo or fucking Issei Sagawa.
You know what we're doing next week? We're going back to the paranormal world.
I was thinking the next one. I was
I-
thinking the next episode I do. I think I might go cult.
Okay, we can do that. We can do a conspiracy one. No, yeah, you can do.
Yeah,
well, it
it
depends on the
I'm
cult.
always down for that.
You know, cult wise, those cults can get
I have one.
pedophilia involved too. So watch, tread lightly.
I don't. The one that was at the top of my list. I don't recall there being any pedophilia. A lot of weird shit.
I
Not
think
pedophilia.
I think next week we're going back to paranormal and we're going to do the Kentucky Goblins,
Okay,
which is fun.
so that's a you episode.
It's fun. It's goblins / possible UFOs, possible
Mhm.
cryptic creatures,
Now, when I
and
say
possible
that,
moonshine.
I don't want anybody to be like, "Oh yeah, Phil likes the paranormal stuff." I do too. Phil just has more fun researching that kind of stuff, where I have more fun researching the cults and the true crime stuff.
Greg points out a good. Okay, I want to read this. Maybe Pee-wee did not rape the child.
I
He
hope
lied
so.
about many killings. You know what?
This is gonna sound fucked up,
I
but I
hope so.
hope he just killed the 2-year-old.
Right. Yeah, as fucked up as that sounds, right, correct. I agree with you 100%.
Because that was my thing. Well, because there was some time.
Hold on. Did they find the bodies of those two?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know he definitely killed the two. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully
But there was
he exaggerated
a
the truth.
year or two between when they found the bodies and that. So I could also see if he did all those fucked up things, they probably wouldn't have been able to tell
Apparently,
at that point.
Gregory has done some research on this. Because he says there's no evidence. Of course, what kind of evidence did they have? Did they have rape kits
Well,
back
and that's what
back
I'm
in
saying.
the
Like
70s?
it had been like a year or two since he'd put those bodies there, so I doubt you'd really be able to tell without DNA evidence and shit like that.
I
You
don't-
know, it's South Carolina. Like and we both know how
not to get too
the
graphic,
forest works.
Not to get too graphic, but sodomizing a 2-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
which would leave definite
Yeah, but
situational
if you
things.
put
But after a year in the ground, things
2 years possibly,
would
yeah.
go. That'd be. I would think in the 70s that'd be hard to.
You
the
would
eye
think if there
of
was
a-
flesh involved, it would
Yeah,
just kind of be falling off the bone at that point.
Yeah, but you think there would be a considerable amount of damage done to.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I
Whatever.
just don't. I can't speak to what the condition of a human body would be like after that period of time.
I hope, Gregory, you're right. That
Yeah, let's hope he just killed the 2-year-old.
We're gonna go with that. In my mind, he did not sodomize the 2-year-old. He just killed the 2-year-old.
I hope not. Jesus Christ.
Still an ass bag.
Still a bag of asses. He's still a horse shit
I would
catcher.
say he could eat a bag of dicks, but it sounds like in his younger days
Well,
he did.
it's like Gregory said. I would not be surprised if that did in fact happen, but my mind is more happy thinking that it didn't.
Gregory says every podcast that deals with Gaskins always believes that he did the 2-year-old murder / whatever, but did not believe
The
it was
ass
coastal.
baggery.
But I don't know anything about the coastal killer.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had something to do with some of them.
I mean, could it be possible that was several killers?
Well, probably.
So it's possible.
But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if they somehow could connect him to some of them.
I've honestly never heard of the coastal killings.
Well, it's because it's like, what is it? What's that fucking road in New Jersey that's like supposed to be like bad luck and like you're just gonna die? But like, there's places like that. But the coastal killings was a little bit different. They're a little more spaced out, without a better way to say it. But no, as far as his involvement in them, I would not. It wouldn't shock me at all if they found a level of involvement on some of them.
It's very possible.
Yeah, but I mean that's true for a lot of killers. Most killers, like, I doubt I'd be surprised if there's any killer that has been gone down for the exact number of murders.
They could go either way.
I mean, unless it's like a school shooting or
Right.
a heist gone wrong or something like that, then that's a little different. But a guy like this, like, I would imagine there's a bunch of bodies that they don't fucking know about, or they're taking credit for more than they actually did.
Yeah. I mean, I like we said earlier in the podcast, I believe most serial killers' body count is probably higher.
Yeah.
Or
drastically lower.
Right.
I mean, look
at
Henry
it could
Lee.
be lower.
Look at Henry Lee Lucas.
I mean,
Henry Lee Lucas claimed so many victims,
right.
and it was almost all bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is just fucked up. He's an ass bag. He's a cock dick. He's a cock dick. He was a power bottom. He wasn't like Aleister Crowley.
I don't know.
This is what happens when you become a member of Spanky and the Boys, our gang.
Right?
Smoke cigarettes, suck dick.
Going out to Charleston to pop your pussy fuck cherry. Going back to the hideout and cornholing the young boys.
Yes. I mean, I thought the podcast couldn't go any further south than that, but apparently you found a whole new basement.
Give me time. There's worse out there.
All right. Anything else you want to cover before we wrap this motherfucker? God, I have to go take a shower now.
I need a cigarette.
I feel dirty after listening to this. I don't even know how you people listen to this. And you know what? I would not. Do not blame anybody that did not listen to this. If you left this podcast at whatever minute
when I said the warning,
the 2-year-old.
Oh yeah, I don't blame anybody
for leaving.
Because it's
I
just
applaud those people.
We'll talk about it because I want to do one story where like it got to a point where like the death of kids had already happened in this story, and I was like, dude, I can't. Like I was listening to a podcast about it because I had never heard of it. So I was like, ooh, something new. Yeah. And I looked at the person I was listening to it while I was working. I was like, dude, are you cool if we fucking put on another episode? Because I'm done with this one.
Put on a nice episode of Ghost in the Night.
I hate it.
You hate that podcast? They're a bunch of
I hate listening to myself. I especially can't listen to myself with other people. I just feel like a narcissist. Like I feel like egomaniacal.
That's okay.
I listen to it by myself because I'm like, oh, I fucking came in a little hot there.
I have to listen to them because I have to edit them.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Fuck.
Bye.
No, there's something. We will be back Wednesday for What the Fuck Wednesday. I don't know what we'll cover. Maybe we'll talk about...
Probably nothing of value like usually on Wednesday.
I can guarantee one thing we will not cover. 2-year-old rape and sodomy.
God.
I guarantee you.
Unless the case itself is 2 years old.
Right. I know one thing. You just pushed the John Benet Ramsey fucking episode way far back because I can't deal with this.
I mean, I don't think... Well, one, we don't know that this actually happened. It was just the fact that we had to talk about it. 2, if this is true, this is leaps and bounds worse than John Benet.
Oh.
Especially because, I don't know.
I don't know.
Did the brother do it?
I don't know. So, we are going to get out of here. Thank you so much for sticking around. We love you guys. Don't forget to follow us on all the social medias at Instagram at ghost_night_podcast, Twitter at ghost_night. I'm sorry, at Twitter at night_ghost, gtin.podcast on Twitter or TikTok and Facebook. I fuck this up every time. Read the fucking screen, people. Jesus Christ. Ghost in the Night on Facebook.
What about Patreon?
I will get to Patreon.
Goddamn right you will.
We will get to it. Now, you heard us
Daddy
talk.
needs a new pair of shoes.
We do the after show, the Patreon member after show after the What the Fuck Wednesday.
And even without the after show, just give us your money.
Which seems to be very popular with the regular cult members.
The little shits.
Yeah, where we go even crazier. That would have been a good...
It's really not.
We might talk about more 2-year-olds being sodomized and raped on that episode. No, we will not. I guarantee you we will not.
I mean, give it time.
I might give my real opinion about how I feel about Travis.
What?
It's all good. But that is immediately following our What the Fuck Wednesday. So if you want to get that bonus episode and all the other free or extra content,
$2. That's
go
it.
to patreon.com/GITM podcast. Once again, that is patreon.com/GITM podcast.
And give us your money. We also accept firstborn children.
And that will get you in a first-class ticket into the GTI and Poop Cult.
Poop cult.
You can join Gregory.
And maybe one day we'll give everybody
Jenny,
inside a tour of the
Jessica,
of our new studio in LA.
Emma's she's probably still not here since she's in Great Britain.
Good night, puppet.
She's an honorary member.
She's a little shit.
No, she's a member of the Poop Cult. She just doesn't know.
Yeah, she's a little shit.
She just doesn't know it yet.
Why?
Because she's a Patreon subscriber.
Oh yeah, she's a little shit.
But she probably doesn't know about the Poop Cult. Well, I'm sure
she listens.
I'm sure she heard. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you too, Greg.
What about me?
You're not a father.
Also don't have one.
That is true. Once again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
That happened at work today. I was sitting there, and better half had her card for her dad. She hadn't filled it out yet because she had to come in and do some morning stuff at work. And I was like, "What this?" And she was like, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Father's Day." And she was like, "Yeah, I didn't want to say it. Felt weird." And I was like, "It's not your fault that he died, or maybe it is. Tell me the fucking truth right now, God damn it."
You're such a dick. All right,
Did you kill my dad when you were 10?
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for checking out this podcast. Thank you for everybody in the chat that joined us live. If you want to join us live every Sunday, head on over to youtube.com/ghostinthenight. We will see you on Wednesday for What the Fuck Wednesday, and then next Sunday for episode 188, which will be Kentucky Goblins. We love you. Take care. We'll see you.
Fuck you guys.